What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining today. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe. So it's been a crazy couple of days, to say the very least. It's been a very crazy couple of days. Lots happening in the world. You all know what I'm talking about. It's been very heavy on my heart. It has not impacted me personally yet. I say yet because some of you know where I work, and I have to be careful with what I say. And I have lots of family members who are also dealing with the same thing. So, if you don't mind, I would appreciate if you're a praying person, praying individual, that you would be praying just for the men and women who have to make the hard decisions here soon, whether they decide to stand against tyranny or figure a way around things, or just give in. Y'all know what my choice is going to be. I will make that very clear. I will not be standing against tyranny in any form or fashion at all. I know I typically have a crypto bent on what I talk about for the most part. And today's show, I kind of will have some crypto in here and whatnot, but I will, I'm going to just point out, that we the people have a job to do. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. I want to pull this up for you guys. It's been on my heart. I'm going to go ahead and just throw this out there. This should be perfectly fine for everyone to see. And then we'll talk about the other stuff. Let me know if you can hear that. I don't know how many people understand the magnitude and the gravity of the words that you just heard. I hope you heard them. I've not tried playing a video before. But do you understand what that means? Most of you who I know No. That means that we, the people, are the reason the government is in place. That we, the people, have the right to take care of certain things in the manner in which is drawn up in the Constitution and in the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to cover more of this in my Patreon show because I really want to go into it, and it would be difficult for me to do so publicly. So please, scrolling around the bottom of the screen here, even if it's $5 a month, the reason I have it there is really to keep the trolls out and set the Patreon up so I could talk about stuff like what you just heard, but in depth, and my personal opinions and thoughts on those things. And those of you who know me and have spent time with me, you know where I stand on certain things that have recent events. Like I mentioned, I will not be. I will have to make a decision that's going to be very difficult, but it will be the right one. Part of the reason why I started the show, part of the reason why I started my business, some of these things that were encouraged through people like Bitcoin Ben, through primarily my wife, my family, and other people around me. It was designed specifically or I set it up specifically so that I could prepare for what just happened. And I didn't do it quite soon enough. I'm almost there. But crypto is the way out of this mess from a monetary perspective, from a freedom perspective because of blockchain, from a true freedom. Okay, if we decentralize everything, if we distributed and decentralize everything, that means that we can have freedom as humanity. Now, the Declaration of Independence is very clear that what our job as the people, we the people, is supposed to do. Our job is clear. Doesn't necessarily mean in any way violence, but it does mean that we have a responsibility to do the right thing, even when it will not be okay, even when it will be hard. Do you think that our forefathers, the ones who wrote the Declaration of Independence, the ones who set up the United States of America, had it easy? No. They surrendered their lives. They surrendered their livelihoods. They surrendered their time with their families. They surrendered their families' lives. At the end of it all, it was so that you could have the freedom to do what you think is best for you. The moment you have government coming in and telling you that you have to do certain things, that's a problem. That's a big problem. I mean, I'm fine with certain amount of things. It makes sense, but only when it makes sense. You come and you tell me that I have to do something that is against my personal convictions, that is against my will, and then threatening me and my family, you got another thing coming. Try it and find out. Things are about to get really crazy, but it will be for the better of humanity. People are waking up in more powerful ways than you can understand. You need to understand what's coming is going to actually be for the betterment of all of humanity. But it's going to require you and me to stand up. Imagine that the world elites, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it, are playing a board game. Let's call it Monopoly, because that's what they do. And they're using you as the table. You want to know how to end their game? Stand up. Just stand up. If you stand up in masses and unite, do you understand that everything around you is designed to divide you? The Bible says that a house divided cannot stand. This nation has been nothing but divided. Whether you're pro this or not, whether you're the whole critical race theory, you black, you white, you whatever, does it matter? We're brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, we're all going to meet our maker. You're all equal. It doesn't matter. We're all equal. But no, the world elite want to pit us against each other. And they've done that. Democrat and Republican. Two sides. You got two sides of the news cycle. Sort of. They kind of become one now. Do you understand? Everything around you is designed to pit you against each other. Get your head out of the sand and realize what's happening. And realize that you, in number, in mass, have the power to stop all of this just by standing up for what is right. And you know what's right. You know what's right. I have been praying for wisdom and what to do and how to say and what to say on these shows for a long time. I don't ever know what I'm going to talk about usually. My heart is very heavy with what's happened right now. And I pray that each of you have the wisdom to make the decision that makes the most sense to you because of your right to make the free decision. Businesses have a decision to make. It's interesting really fast here. If a business decides to push this and agree with this, the majority of their workforce will be walking out. I know of 2 instances so far of them trying, 2 different businesses. I will not name them. And the majority of their workforce the next day turned in their resignation. And they walked that back. Actually, they ran that back. Do you think whether, and the funny thing is it didn't matter whether they had already had the little thingy modoodle or not, the magic potion. Whether they had it or not, it didn't matter. They said, I'm not doing this. I'm not supporting this. I'm not allowing somebody to say X, Y, and Z has to be done. I said so, or else. Whether you're for it or not, it doesn't matter. The people are joining and uniting together on this. That's tyranny. That's why the Declaration of Independence was written, because of a tyrannical control. They picked the wrong people to do this with. They picked the wrong people to push these things to. They picked the wrong people to push at this point. There are a lot more of us than there are of them, by a lot. If I could just tell you for a moment what I know that has transpired through history. I cannot on this particular channel, but I will on my Patreon. Join it. Even if you just join it for today, just to hear today's video, and then you're gone tomorrow, I don't care. If you want to hear what I have to say around this, just join it for today and move on. It's fine. But hopefully it will make sense. At the end of it all, God's in control. I'm not worried. I know how this ends at the end of the day. Not trying to say we're in the end times by any means, but God will win because he always does. Nothing surprises God. Ever. It never will. You need to understand, again, I'm going to say it again. We, the people, have the right to stand up. Not only that, it is our duty to stand up against tyranny. Otherwise, the freedom you have is no more. Period. I hope you understand that. I hope you understand that. And for those of you who are facing this craziness of potentially not being able to provide for your families over this stupidity, cryptocurrency does offer a way out from a job perspective. That's why I started my business. That's why others have started their business. Some of you have gone and started your own business, or you've invested in crypto. The big boys aren't playing around anymore. $240 million added into Bitcoin. MicroStrategies isn't playing around. They bought 5,000 more Bitcoin. I was going to read this one. I didn't even read this one. My head's been so focused on everything else. Cardano went live with their smart contracts. We have the ability, people, to make a free world with smart contracts and blockchain technology. We have the ability to do this right now. I mean, already here. Watch this. Already in in El Salvador, this is Walmart.
Mostrar QR para hacerlo más grande. Ahí está. Para debitar, para pagar. Ajá, para pagar. Hay algo importante. Ahí si ve 8.53, porque lo que pasa es que la billetera le cobra una comisión por
ser de otra.
No, las de Chivo, en teoría no va a cobrar, pero cualquier otra.
Walmart in El Salvador now accepts Bitcoin as payment for legal tender. Crypto's not going away, folks. That happened a lot faster, do you understand, because of the Lightning Network, which is Litecoin. We have a choice to make as a country. Actually, we have a choice to make as humanity. The banking system is what has caused all of this. The people behind the banks is what has caused all of this. Last week, I talked about the history of banking, and I scratched the surface, barely scratching the surface. It's almost like I took an ink pen and tried to scratch a hole or a scratch on a block of ice. Barely scratched the surface. Okay? Banking is the biggest and the most evil industry in the world. We have a choice to make as humanity to decide whether we continue to allow them to do what they're doing by feeding their system and using it, or flipping over to something crypto related and not doing it anymore. As soon as I can, I will be going full-time crypto. As soon as I can, I will be spending and using cryptocurrency as it is an everyday life. You need to learn how to do that. If you want to learn, I offer consultations. I may do some videos to teach you. I don't know yet. We'll see what time permits. If I have to make this wonderful decision here coming up, I'll have a lot more time to work on some of this stuff. I'm not worried about it, but I will stand up and say no. I will stand up and say no. Will you? Will you do the right thing? Will you do your duty to your children, your children's children, and the rest of humanity and say no to tyranny? Governments of the world have partnered with businesses. The businesses that do this, And other stuff, they've partnered with them. They're in bed with them, literally, in some cases. How is that okay? You need to go read the Constitution of the United States, and you need to go read the Bill of, well, that is the Bill of, well, yeah, the Bill of Rights. You need to go and read the Declaration of Independence. You need to understand what your job is as a United States citizen, as a human being on this earth. Your job, your duty is to stand up and say no. I don't think that they've realized yet that they have woken a giant, an angry giant. I'm not condoning violence, but if a mass of people stand up and say no, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. They can try, they will fail. There's nothing they can do. Our men and women in uniform swore an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States against powers both foreign and domestic. And they know that. They know the oath they took. You see these woke idiots who keep coming out and saying all the stuff they're going to do, blah, 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 blah. They better watch their six, because their teammate is going to uphold the Constitution. Just saying, it's going to get messy, folks. Things are going to get messy. You need to prepare your hearts for what was coming. You need to know what to do when this happens. There are things coming that is going to change this, but it's going to require you standing up and saying enough. You want things to change, it's going to have to start with you, the individual. And you're going to have to make a decision and say no. I don't care if you're for what happened or not. Not necessarily. No, I do care. I don't care if you're for making the decision to enjoy that magic potion or not. That's up to you. That is your decision entirely. And because this is America, I support that decision. But the moment your leaders tell you you have to do something that goes against your personal and religious and whatever convictions, to not touch it, something inside of your body is saying, no, I don't want to touch that. You do have a soul. We all do. Something inside you saying, don't do that. It is your right to say no. It is your right to say, yeah, I'll do that. And again, I'll support that. But the moment someone tells you you have to do it, that's tyranny. Not only is that tyranny, it's evil itself. And a big, huge red flag to you should be that they're all exempt from enjoying that magic potion. That you have to take if they say so. It should be a real big red flag for you. This has happened in history. This has happened in history that we remember recently. Are we going to stand by and just let it happen? If they win here, they will never stop taking. Make the decision, folks. Do the right thing. You need to know what tyranny is, and you need to realize what it means for humanity. If we, the people, sit by and say, oh, somebody else is going to take care of it. Oh, somebody else is going to take care of it. I'm going to wait here for this, that, and the other. People talk about how there are plans and this, that, and the other in place that are running. Part of the plan is you. Did you know that? You're part of the plan. You have to unite. And you will. Whether you're united right now or not, you will. And I pray to God you prepare your hearts before that information hits your eyes and your ears and your hearts. I cannot talk about it openly. I cannot talk about it at all openly. You want to know when you see me face to face, ask me, and I'll talk about it. I will not talk about it online. What's coming will unite people. It will unite humanity. It will unite humanity. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you'll know what I'm talking about when it does. All else will fall away. Black, white, right, wrong, pro, anti, left, right, will all fall away. It will not matter because you will soon see that the real enemies and who they are and how they've done everything in their power to make sure that you are distracted and divided so that you don't see what they're doing. Because the moment, and they know this, the moment you see what they're doing, the moment you look up from the distractions, from the football games, baseball games, drinking, eating, partying, whatever, the moment you stop and look up and see what they're doing, that you will stop them. I don't think you understand. God's in control, and I am at peace with what's going to happen. I don't know why he showed me some of the stuff he showed me years ago. Maybe now is why. Maybe the reason why is now because I went through it, and you're all going to go through it. And I know how to get out of it. I know how to heal. You need to prepare your hearts for what's coming. I love each and every one of you. I will be doing a Patreon show this afternoon at 4:30, which I plan to cover my opinion on what the Constitution says, what the bill, not Constitution, the Declaration of Independence says, what it means. Again, it's $5 a month. The only reason it's $5 a month, and you can join now. It'll charge. I have it set so it'll charge at the beginning of the month, no matter when you join. Y'all jump in. Just watch that video this afternoon. If you don't like it, cool, whatever. I love all of you. My heart is tremendously heavy for what's taking place, but I know that I know what we need to do. No one's going to want to do it, but guess what? I am. I'll be the leader if I have to be. I always have been. I don't mind standing up for what's right. And I never will. You all have a blessed day, and I will see you this afternoon.